Hello there. Thanks for watching News Echoes. My name is Shegun Johnson. Today we're going to look at the implications of the death of Queen Elizabeth II. In the studio with me are men of eminence. I believe they are ready. All the way from this capital seat in Abuja is our man, Dr. Osita Anemeka, proprietor of University in Africa. Dr. Sita, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. Glad to be here.
And in faraway Milan is a man, Mark Godwin. Mark, you are welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Shagun. Good morning, Dr. Sita.
Good morning, Mark Milan.
Yeah, thank you.
We woke up last week, Thursday, and we were told that the Queen has died. That was a great shock to many. It was impossible to others. It was the end of an era to many. 96 years of age, Queen Elizabeth, popularly called Lilibet in her family, has gone to be with her ancestors and is a deep mourning here in England. And we have no choice but to discuss the Queen's death and the coming on of King Charles III. Let me ask around the whole world how they have received it. All the way in Nigeria, Dr. Sita, when the news broke, how did the Nigerian people and the Nigerian government receive it, the death of Queen Elizabeth?
Yeah, with sympathy and condolences from government, we have had the man at the helm of affairs, express sympathy, and then for the older folks, people, some of the people that I actually called me said that they saw her when she came last to Nigeria, which was amazing because it means that these people have been there since the 50s and 60s, which is brilliant. But there are also other people who haven't read the history, looking at him, talking about the crown that she wears on her head, talking about the cart, that drives her round her city, the golden cart. They said the gold was pulled out of Africa. And then some people actually have been complaining and then blaming other people who want mourning to stop mourning. As a matter of fact, across the continent, that's the same story. Everywhere, people, it's mixed feelings. The woman is dead. She was 96 years old, so it's may her soul rest in peace. But also, her death exposed Africa to so many things, and some of them are good because some people who are not particularly happy are not even condemning her. They are condemning Africans for not standing up all this while to start fending for themselves. You just don't sit complain that colonizers colonized you, that the Queen became so rich, harvesting out of Africa things that were not ours. What have we done ourselves? What have African leaders done to become independent, to even become better than the Queen? Because the source of her wealth is Africa, is India. What have we done to go back to that source, harvest them and become better than the Queen? That's the question everywhere. So I think the lessons are there. The lessons are there. Well, we've all learned it. Some people are still there. Some Nigerians outside Nigeria, in diaspora, they all are sharing their views too. So yes, may so rest in peace.
Thank you very much. Yes. Mark, how did you receive the news in Europe? You being in Italy, having connections in France, Germany, and Spain. How did Europe receive it?
Well, at times like this, you find out that the Europeans are just one family. This their color unites them at moments like this. So it's been a period of mourning around Europe, all of Europe. The Queen has passed on, and the mourning has also been going on. It's still going on right about now. and we're also following events in London, in the UK. So it's for Europeans, no sentiments. Europeans are, they don't have all these attachments like we in Africa do have. So they are just seeing it that the monarch, the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, has passed on, and they feel so sad. So a lot of them are even traveling. There will be so many Europeans, Germans, French. In fact, I think they are there already at the Buckingham Palace, right in front there. A lot of Italians are moving. Everybody's going now. Everybody wants to have a last glimpse of the Queen's coffin, the Queen in the box. So that's it for Europe. But there are mixed reactions, like Dr. Sita said. Right, sir.
Let's look at her life just for a moment before we go to King Charles' reign. The Queen has been or was a special citizen of the world. We are told she was the only one who never had a passport because she did not need one. She would go into any country of this world without her passport. Every other person in the whole world had a passport, including the President of the United States. No other person could go into another man's country without his or her own passport. And so in that way, she was unique. Nobody would say, may I have a look at your passport? And she got away with that because she was the head of an empire for several years. And I think something that many people overlooked concerning what Dr. Sita said was that this was also an ordinary human being. She had her own challenges. At a point, she talked about Annalise Horribilis, that is a horrible year when everything turned pear-shaped. I mean, she had her own husband and 4 children, and there were challenges in that family. And so she had to say, oh my God, I have been experiencing some terrible things in my family. And so many of us should learn from her life history that yes, things might be good at times. Yes, she might be the only world citizen without a passport. Yes, she might have lived a privileged life, but no, not everything was rosy. Her children had been challenged. Prince Charles at that time had to go through a divorce. Prince Andrew went through a divorce, was challenged in the court. Princess Anne had her own challenges. And so many times the Queen's family has been challenged. Dr. Osita, from what we know, what are the highlights that you can say of this woman's 96 years in life? I mean, look at the highlights. She had to pick up the challenges of economic crisis in 1952 when she ascended the throne. But then she had been to almost all the countries of this world being respected. So let's look at both the good times and the old times. Dr. Sita, help us out a little bit.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. The fun about tracing the life of Queen Elizabeth is unending. But the truth about it is also too is that, like you said, he had personal crisis, and most of these crises also went global because I want to believe that in most recent times when she left home to visit countries outside Europe, outside the UK, she didn't know what to expect because most countries were already tired of, one, the Commonwealth, and two, of the imperialism. So what happened in some of the Caribbean, small nations, shocked her because she didn't believe that some small nations there can actually begin to say that we're out of this. You can't be our head of state anymore. We are going, democratic, and we're going to stay that way without apologies. Even in Africa, let's also be specific. Most people who understood the issues between the enclave Biafra and Nigeria, they have issues with the Queen. Next, right here, in our country, Nigeria, most Biafrans or most people who have the Biafran ideology saw the Queen as somebody who thwarted the efforts of Commando Ojukwu, to create a state out of Nigeria, and that is huge because because part of the problem is that. Just that people are not, very willing to talk about it. Part of the problem was that all the plan that Ojukwu had, had roots from London, because Sir Louis Ojukwu, who was the father, father of the warlord, and also the man whose money bankrolled the early stages of the war, grew his wealth out of London. So they understood what happened. But the issue now is that not all European countries felt the way the UK felt. So there were also issues there for recognition. France, for instance, was there, not quite loud about it because they didn't colonize Nigeria, but they were there doing things that were unique. I remember as a child in the war, I was already a teenager. I knew that there were kids who had been airlifted from Nigeria to countries in Africa, sponsored by the French regime. Yes, because kids went to Gabon, kids went to other countries, and even some French soldiers were in Biafra. But for the UK, the way these Igbo people feel about the UK is unique because they saw them as sabotage. They saw them as uniquely not being in support of what happened. But look at it again, the way it is.
I will definitely come back to that in a moment because you have touched on something great, how the British played the Igbos during the Biafra War. As a matter of fact, the British called themselves neutral at the beginning because they were ready to exploit the oil. And they were doing that until 1968, being on the side of the Biafra, they were calling themselves neutral. Yet they wanted the oil. That's what they were there for. When they saw the Russians or the Soviet Union moved in, giving the Nigerian army ammunition through Egypt, and then the Nigerian side was winning, then they switched over. The Biafran government never made it again. The French government refused to declare the support for Biafra, even though they were working for Biafra, and for various reasons. Because in 1961 January, the Nigerian government threw them out of their country, gave them 48 hours to pack up. So there are so many intricacies concerning that. But thank you for mentioning that because the Nigerians will be divided over that. Mark in Milan,
yes.
the European governments or the European nations used to have their kings, but the kings were not as prominent as that of England. Today we still have the king and queen of Spain. We still have France guillotined all their kings and queens, and they never spoke about it. So what made the queen unique? What made the queen stand out during her reign? Why was she so at that level?
Yes, it goes back to the ancestral lineage of the English monarch. That's a very strong monarch around the world. Take note that the grandfather of Queen Elizabeth II, they were warriors. They were able to also capture and conquer and dominate, and somehow it worked for them. And that sovereignty, that domineering power carried through even up to now. And the Queen Elizabeth was able to also sustain that. She was, apart from the controversy surrounding her from emotions rising up now, the fact of the matter is Queen Elizabeth was very consistent. She was very determined. She held on to the throne, and she really held it on very well. We must confess, yes. take note
On
also
that
that
note,
citizen, the British, the English people have these. There's a kind of loyalty to monarchs. I mean, they are used to it. The other Europeans have it too, but at a point they lost it. They don't. Nobody wants to have, king and all that. But even though we still have much of them around, and a lot of them will be coming to the burial, to the funeral service, and also the Queen's husband. Remember, also comes from a royal home in
in Greece. Yeah, from
yes,
Greece. Yeah.
partly Greece and also partly Denmark. So
Okay.
reality is in Europe, but the English people have sustained theirs because somehow it connects to their life. It has come a long way, not today. I mean, the 20th, the 13th century, 14th, 15th, 16th has had various monarchs in the UK, and it's about
Oh,
conquering, it's about taking over, dominating, and all that. Yes.
okay. Thank you for that analysis. On her dying bed, I'm talking of the last hour, the doctor called on Prince Charles and called on Prince Andrew and Princess Anne and Edward, the four children, and also called on all the grandchildren, and they were all by her side. And as soon as she breathed her last breath, Prince Charles became automatically the king, and since then has been doing the kingly role. Let's shift our focus on King Charles. So many things have changed in 1 week. Not to talk of the change of baton from Boris Johnson to Liz Truss, formation of a new cabinet, and now we have a new king in England. And I think this new king, who has decided to retain his name, Charles, has made him King Charles the Third. And so we will not be seeing E2R anymore. We will be seeing C3R. E2R, for those who don't know, used to be Elizabeth II Regina, or Queen Elizabeth II. Now we'll be seeing King Charles III. So that is going to change in all of the places where they appeared. Osita, being a man of analysis on political issues, how do you see the reign of King Charles? Will it be up to 70 years like his mom, Queen Elizabeth, reigned for 70 years? That would be difficult for him to surpass. He's 73, and give him 20 years, it will be 93. Do you think he can go thus far, even to be 96 before handing over to Prince William?
Brilliant question, because I asked myself this question too. I think part of what Massive Max said in Milan is that Queen Elizabeth was very consistent.
Yeah.
It's like she walked with a script. She wakes up in the morning and ticks how to do lists. I don't see any other monarch out of Great Britain do that in this day and age and in the future, for two good reasons. Things have moved so fast, and things are still moving very fast. King Charles, as monarch at 73, cannot have the speed of 1960s, of 1970s and 80s of the mother. And remember, there was a time too when people were saying, is he ever going to be king? Because yes, because the woman was just there, not even showing sign. Even before she passed on, even 1 month before, she was still there, rocking and rolling, being the woman with a common purpose for the Commonwealth and for Great Britain. So to answer your question, we see the king, doing well, working hard to do exactly what he's supposed to do, but he cannot fit into the mother's shoes. No, he cannot. And then he also would be that male leader who would go beyond what the mother did to contain so many things that have been plaguing Great Britain from the monarchy perspective. So we are looking at a man who will sit with more people this time and see how to create more friendships and more relationship with the Commonwealth and with the rest of the world, and also with Europe. Because you will remember when Brexit started, it was a confusion for Buckingham Palace in the first place because they didn't know how to deal with it. But now that everything has settled in and the man is now king, we are looking forward to him starting from there to begin to make repairs. And remember, he also has a role to play in the Ukraine war.
He has been very careful in. Yes, go on, Mark.
Yes. I mean, yes, it would be a tedious task ahead for King Charles II. If the Commonwealth and the nations that are under the British monarch, if they will also remain loyal to his kingship, because as at this morning, the Australians are now saying we are going to go for election. We need a president, and when Australia begins that, Canada might do the same. Some of the South Caribbean countries might begin to do the same.
Yeah, the island nations, of course, they're going to do that. Yeah.
So
does it mean that the reign of King Charles may not be as smooth sailing like that of his mom?
I guess so, sir. I think so. Eyes are opening. People are beginning to have this consciousness of being dependent on themselves. In fact, I remember during the COVID lockdown around the whole world, there was a time in London they had a protest. I mean, there was this, the young people were just creating havoc everywhere, and there was a time some of them were chanting enough to the Queen and no to the Queen and all that. And in fact, they were throwing stones.
They pulled down some statues all over the country.
So we are heading towards a different time in humanity when people don't want to have too much control. The people feel, why will somebody just hold on to all the resources of wealth, control everything, and they are just there? So let's see how it plays out. But
it is a catch-22 case because there are many people who are Republicans in the United Kingdom. Republicans mean they don't want any monarchy. They are against the monarchy and they come out openly. And the Queen recognized that one. And that was one of the reasons why she did not abdicate for Charles, saying that Charles will not know how to balance these things. Listening to King Charles III, I have meticulously read some of his messages. He's been trying to do the balancing. Before the death of his mother, he has said that he will be the leader of all faiths. And many people were not happy about that at all, because the Queen was the head of the Anglican Church, the defender of the faith in England. But that was Prince Charles talking. Now, I have gone to look at his message concerning the faith, and he said he will continue in the area of defending the faith. He did not put a plural on this occasion because the Christians have been watching whether he would defend other faiths. Now, he is not against any other faith, just like any of us, but that he would be their leader is another issue entirely. But carefully, he has moved away from there. Dr. Osita, do you think this man will be able to rigmarole his way in the years ahead, especially as things are looking at because of this Russian-Ukrainian war?
No. What I'm thinking is that he's going to need help. He's going to rely on a plethora of platforms for help. One, the world is moving so fast. This is an issue for him, because what we knew with the mother was an agreeing community outside the UK that some of them love her so much. But this man at 73, already made man, old man, going towards the last day, the evening of his life. People already knew him as who he is. Nice guy. When he came into Nigeria, he was speaking pidgin English. He was speaking Yoruba with people. Nice guy. But the issue is that you cannot export that niceness to to the streets of Delhi. You cannot, because Indians see them differently now. Now that they have grown in size and wealth, and they're still angry. Most Commonwealth countries are still very angry. So he has so much to do. If you're talking about rigmarole, if you're talking about maneuvering, he will try his best. But the good thing about him is his humor. The sad thing about him is the current conditions that we are faced with. The poverties of the world, poverties of the so-called country, the Commonwealth countries that govern is huge. So he has to begin to do something about it. He's the only one now who can jump from one country to the other, because any other person involved in Commonwealth is restricted to their own country. He's the only one who can, who can stand as strike countries. But in doing that, he must come to some relationship management that will help him stand straight, in achieving the goals and aims.
Thanks very much. Marky Milan, wait a minute. You have a special question. Princess Diana was never born to be the Queen of England. Of course, Princess Diana died, and most of us know the story. We hope we know the story. And then here was Camilla, Queen Camilla. She was destined to be the queen. She was one time girlfriend of Prince Charles. They never allowed her to marry Prince Charles. In fact, history had it that the royal family went to look for Mr. Pakabos to marry Camilla, which he did. And but the love of Prince Charles then and Camilla was growing. Even when Prince Charles got married to Diana, today Camilla is the queen consort. Consort means the one that follows the king. Queen Camilla enters. What's your feeling?
It's a big one. Now, these are all the things surrounding this entrance to the monarch for Prince Charles, King Charles III. The scandal behind all that is still on people's mind, because let's take note that the world loved Princess Diana. People loved her. She was just people's. I mean, somehow she played her way into the hearts of the world, all over the world. Young people, old people, everybody just loved her and saw her as an angel, and she really was like that in her deeds. She was also very generous. She had charitable plans and arrangements. So sadly, she passed on. Until today, a lot of people still feel there's a foul play on her death. That's also one of the animosity. Yes, unfortunately so. One of the animosity, people hold on to the Queen, to Queen Elizabeth. Yes.
Yes.
So, Camilla stepping in, Queen consort, yes, but it's going to be a hard one, because we can't put up that. I mean, from a girlfriend to a queen consort. I mean, we know the royal.
And then she was a divorcee that the British Constitution will not allow. But then they didn't have a choice. Prince Charles went to Mommy, I will want Camilla to be the queen. And after you've gone, and Mommy accepted, and here she is queen. But Dr. Osita, I know we have very few minutes to our interlude. Can you please look at Meghan? Prince Harry said, I don't want them to hand and kill my wife like they killed my mother. And Meghan is still in the news, hot in the news. In fact, Harry and Williams, they are working together closely. They take their pictures together. What do you say? You think Meghan will be able to rise and shine more than Diana?
Hello?
Yeah, did you hear me?
Yes.
Please ask that again. Network was bad
I
here.
think
Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. I was just looking at the role of Meghan as vis-a-vis that of Diana. Harry said that I don't want my wife to be killed like they killed my mother. I mean, and we was talking about the royal family and the British media. You think Meghan will be able to get out of the media mania here?
Yes, yes, she can. Yes, she can. I've always known that she can. Remember, if you ask, the Brits, what makes them proud of the British, the royal family is the third in the rank. Third in the rank. There is their history as a people that comes second, and then the NHS is number one. If Princess Diane was still alive, the things that we know now about the British monarchy before the Queen passed on would have changed considerably, and we saw that coming. So what Meghan is going to do, or what I expect her to do, is to retain the strength that the husband put behind her, because if you know what it took him to denounce his position to stick with the wife, you will know the kind of character they were dealing with, because he lost everything, and even including people looking at him with respect. But he didn't care, because he knew what was going on. He was there when his father was looking up to his grandmother for so many things that disappointed them. Because even out of the military experiences they had. Yes?
It is in interest of King Charles III to hold on to Meghan and Harry because they look like the face of the youth. And so it is in his interest. We'll be watching what happens, but so far so good. Charles is holding on to Harry and Williams, and everybody expects Williams to be king maybe in the next 20 years as against his own. We'll be back. We'll go on a short break. Please don't go away, because President Buhari has gone to Imo State. So what happened in Imo State? You want to know. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
When I wrote the book, The Final Solution, the Lord gave me some things in the spirit realm to see going to happen here. And that is why you need to get a copy of this book, not because of the purchase, but because of the contents. We've not spent 2 weeks. Now we have seen the problem in Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus, Donetsk, Luhansk, and all the other surrounding nations, talk less of the Western countries and the eastern countries. We want to pray that this stops where it is. Some people are even imagining a third world war. I pray that there'll be no third world war. But we need to know the solution to all of these problems, and they are well packaged in that book, The Final Solution. The amount of money is next to nothing. Go to Amazon and buy this book. Go to the Kindle, go to KDP and buy this book. It's very important. So it is in Amazon and Kindle. And of course you can purchase the paperback, but it's not about the money. It's about the contents to have solution to Ukraine, to Russia, to the West, to the East, and indeed all parts of the world. Do get a copy and let's start operating the solution of God to our time.
Thanks for staying with us at News Echoes. We've been discussing about the passing of the Queen and the coming on of King Charles III. Let's just move swiftly to Nigeria, the president of Nigeria. We have Dr. Godwin Ibe joining us from Moscow. Dr. Ibe, you are most welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, viewers, for watching.
Yes, we're about to. I was just planning that we should discuss President Buhari in Imo State, but before I go to that, quickly tell our viewers and listeners what was the reaction of Russia to the passing on of Queen Elizabeth and the coming in of King Charles III. What was anything extraordinary at this change of baton?
Yes, very valid question, very actually important question, because we want our interest basically about being able to survive, meet our needs, and improve relationship between countries. Well, the relationship between Britain and Russia is at a low. I think the depth of which can't get any deeper. Russia and Britain is quite unclear if there's a desire to actually even improve it, based on the rhetorics and the stance they've taken on various issues, including not limited to Ukraine. So the Queen Elizabeth was quite popular around the world, but in Russia she wasn't really seen as really pro-Russia. But considering the fact that President Putin congratulated one of the first, if not one of the first, to congratulate King Charles, it shows that Russia is practical about diplomatic relationships, and
that was extraordinary. That was extraordinary, Dr. Ibe. We were told that Putin was the first to congratulate King Charles III,
yes,
and that was extraordinary. I was thinking, what was his motive? He never congratulated Liz Truss, the new British Prime Minister.
King Charles hasn't publicly come out on issues that are so anti-Russian. There's sometimes where leaders have to say something. For example, if you hear the president of US say something that is not pro-US, you think he's crazy, because we expect him to say something pro-US. We expect the head of UK to say something pro-UK. But there's a limit to which you can really get out of defending your national interest and really go anti-Russia. That will be clear that you're not just it's not just business as usual, but you're actually making attempts to be anti a particular group or a particular nation as large as Russia. So King Charles, unlike Liz Truss, when Liz Truss came to Russia, the foreign minister Sergei Lavrov said that it was like speaking to a deaf or a blind person. That there was absolutely no communication.
But she was also banned, equally banned from coming back, isn't it?
Yeah. In the case of sanctions, Russia plays a retaliatory role mostly. Russia is usually not the first to place sanctions, but when you place on Russian officials, of course, they will mirror the sanctions or the bans or the persona non grata or diplomatic closure. Basically, Russia responds mirror response when it comes to diplomatic
Yes,
evasion.
we will come back to that before we close, because I have some questions to ask you. That is Russia retreating? Is Russia being defeated? From what we're hearing
Hmm.
from the press, but
Hmm.
let me quickly ask
Hmm.
Dr. Osita. President Buhari went to Imo State. Was it necessary? Number one, was it necessary? What did he go to do there? Number one. Number two, must he wear the same clothes with the governor? And we saw him wearing white and white with a red cap, and just exactly like that of a governor Uzodima. Was it necessary? Couldn't he just wear his own clothes? What were they thinking? Number three, the people of Imo State never came out to welcome him, only the government. How easy to separate the people from the government? Was this I mean, it's not a military state, is it? Please help me, Dr. Osita.
Okay, let me start from somewhere. You asked very fantastic questions. The truth, this is the fun part. The truth about it is that when he was in Imo State in 2021, I was there. And because he
Mm.
wanted to wear the same uniform as the state governor, they dealt with the man by tailoring. You need to see the pants that he wore. As a matter of fact, the joke for 6 months was that they are looking for the tailor that made his dress so that they can arrest him.
They,
And when they
yes, they were
arrest him,
looking.
yes, that he will rot in jail. But let's take that apart. I think it is the part of the story that Ukpo Uzodinma is not only APC but is part of the Buhari's legacy. That is
Mm.
what they are doing. Red cap, white shirt, maybe the same kind of shoes, maybe the same
Mm.
perfume or whatever it takes. But the issue is that yes, the issue is that this is the biggest waste of time that we have seen. The September 2021 event was just a road culvert that they came to commission. This time he has gone to commission phase one of a road that is still under refurbishment, not even a new road. This is the old Oji Owerri to Okigwe Road that is about 50 something kilometers long, and they have done a patch of it. And the man has left Abuja to come and commission a part of the road, phase one of the road. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And then, like you said, the fanfare for his coming was huge just by a few people. If you look at the
Wow.
photographs, if you look at the photographs of his arrival, you actually see the depth of dirge of the airport itself. The airport itself has not even been touched in a very long time, and this is where Hope is, and he's saying that this is quality governance, quality governance, quality government, quality anything. The issue now is yesterday, Tuesday, was double stay at home, double issues, because one, Nnamdi Kanu was to go to court, and two, in Imo State, the president arrived. So what you saw there was the only crowd that could welcome him. That was the only crowd, and just a handful of people, because the normal airport people will not come out, and they won't let another person come out. And the people who are there following them all over the place, they didn't even know that after they had done the job on the phase one of the road, that was all that man came for. And they said, the language they used was that he's leaving legacies behind. Legacies behind. Commissioning a patch road from Ojo to Okigwe. It doesn't make sense. So yes,
It
answer
doesn't
your
make
question.
sense.
That was my question.
Thank,
Because whatever he came to do in Imo State could have been done by one of the ministers, could have been done by by Hope Uzodinma himself.
Macmillan, don't you think is a sheer waste of money? God knows how many billions will have gone into welcoming him on security alone, because they had to properly secure the place. They didn't know where the IPOP or the unknown government could come. So they must have spent a lot of money on security alone. Talk less on receiving him. I don't know how much the new tailor, because this new tailor appeared to have done a good job. I was looking at those white trousers, and they must have spent a lot of money. Maybe they brought in some Gucci tailors to do this one. But what do you think? How much money do you think they spent?
Thank you very much, Dr. Shago. Well, me and Dr. Godwin, we smile at this topic because that's our state. We're both from Imo State. So we're in diaspora. Yes.
I am sorry. I didn't know that. I'm so sorry.
No. Listen, you spoke so well. You spoke so well. But yesterday, I was having direct contact with the media team and also some other media people too. And the interesting part was there's a clip of money being shared to that crowd you saw that looked like the crowd that came to welcome the president. That's just a crowd from that were giving handouts money to do that. So it's not it's all played, it's all an arrangement. Fela will say arrange, it's just an arrange, you know. So after he left, there's a video, I have the clip where they were disbursing the 1,000 to 2,000 naira to all of those people that were there. So this shows that it's Hope is not having the people on his side. He's obviously not. He's just a Buhari stooge, and he shows that by, like you said, the dress code, trying to make himself look like his oga. You know, this is now his oga, like we call it. We say in Africa. So everything they are doing is just to keep them safe. They are just being happy among themselves. Just that small group of people.
But on the expense of the state.
On the expense of the state.
You. Yeah.
So Buhari was there for a one-day visit to commission project, and he did that and left. And like you said, the security would have been real tough because IPOB is their region, and a lot of other things could be happening. So you have to keep everything in check for the man to come and go.
Yeah.
So nobody.
Yes, Dr. Johnson, the budget that the opposition recorded was 241 billion naira. 241
billion
billion naira. Billion, B-I-L-L-I-O-N. Yes. So they're asking him to account for it. How can one day visit cost that kind of money? And nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Oh,
nobody cares.
Word.
The kids are at home.
Dr. Ibe, how do you feel that your money is being spent like that? Is Hope Uzodinma hopeful for a second term? Therefore, 241 billion naira welcoming his Oga from at the top.
What is like I've said in previous programs, the only I don't know, the only legacy that President Muhammad Buhari could leave is to just allow the will of the people in the elections so that they can choose who they want. Because if I talk only about, sorry, I like to quote figures. You forgive me, but I like to be objective in my approach. Russia, that is in a conflict, they have a surplus budget. Nigeria is not in a global conflict, maybe in local conflict, terrorism, okay, but not in an international conflict. But yet, our deficit is approaching 13, not billion, trillion naira, out of which 11 trillion is to be borrowed. And to even balance the 2023 budget, they need to sell off some national assets to be able to fund 2023 budget. That is how bad it is on a federal level. We don't need to talk about the infrastructure that is not there, the roads, the water, the light. We don't need to talk about our magic number of 40, which I like to talk about. Which one you want to talk about? Unemployment rate, 40% of the people are employed. We want to talk about poverty, 40% of people, families live on less than $1. There's nothing less than $1. We've talked about it before. So there's catastrophic failure. And we can also see it in Imo State. We can see all this, a mirror image of all these failures in Imo State. So there's nothing to be proud about. What else can I say? It's only the people. If the people will be given a chance to pick who they want, and of course, if the people will not be bought over, because come to think about it, it's pretty difficult. I don't want to use swear words, but it's pretty difficult if you're living on less than $1 a day not to take bribes. It's pretty difficult. If someone is going to give you a sack of rice and you're living on $1 a day, and the person is going to give you a sack or 2 sacks of rice, and you calculate it, your family will eat for 1 month, it's pretty difficult not to give him your vote. It's just pretty difficult. So we're expressing a real failure, and we don't really need to always blame those people who are selling their votes. But the fact is that our policies are not giving us the result that any sane person will desire at the moment.
It's a shame. Quickly, why did President Buhari not refuse to come to say, look, instead of spending over 200 billion to receive me, go and spend it on the people's projects? Why? Why? Couldn't he refuse?
Is that his priority? We've talked about priorities. I always talk about theory of relativity, objectivity. From whose angle are you looking at it from? Are you looking at it from my angle, from your angle, or from his angle? What is
From poor people's angle.
Oh, from poor people's angle. Since when did that become a factor of consideration? Since when? So that's the problem. We have to look at it from one angle. When we look at it from the perspective of the observer, then we can understand whether it's logical for him to take such steps. If he has been after the people, that we're having 40% unemployment, 40% of you living on less than $1, and then you're questioning why he has to spend billions to look good in a public image for Imo State, then it doesn't tally. It doesn't tally. So from the perspective of the observer of the federal government, I think he's on plan. He's doing exactly what he planned.
We will continue to observe and analyze President Buhari's the last few months in office. Dr. Sita, ASUU is still sitting down at home. No tertiary education in the past 1 year. What's the latest coming out from Nigeria?
The same reason why they went off work in February is the same reason why we're talking about it this morning. There are issues on ground that have been alive for the last 7 years. Promises have been made, promises have been broken. Promises made again, broken, made again, broken. This time, ASUU is saying, we're not going to allow you break this so that we take it once and for all. And what has happened recently, which is very, very huge, is that parents actually begging ASUU to please go back to class. And I'm saying to ASUU, stay where you are. If we have stayed this long since February and my kids are not in school and they're not dead, look for, make sure you get what you're looking for so that these kids don't go home anymore. It's encouraging so that they don't go home anymore because, just let's look at it very copiously. I was a teacher. You stay in class and you're asking students to go out on an assignment. They go there. There are no computers. The libraries are empty. The textbooks that they're supposed to use, they can't find them in the library. And then you ask yourself, how am I going to grade this assignment? How am I going to bring quality to the table when I'm assessing these kids? You don't have it. And because you don't have it, these kids perform so badly, and they come back to say, it's the teachers, they're not qualified. Some of them even took the teaching job as a last resort. That's all it is. So as we're saying now, let's show them that we're qualified, but let them give us the tools and equipment that we'll need to, to create quality among the students. And federal government is saying that we cannot give you the money. And then the minister, who is supposed to be the forerunner, the arrowhead for education in the country, is saying that we have tried our best. ASUU can actually go to hell.
Now,
because there are some issues that are playing on that. They are playing on that they are going to encourage parallel organizations to come and take over the schools, which is not possible.
It appears unbelievably, Dr. Sita, it appears that the government of Nigeria is not educated enough to know that poor graduates coming to an enabling environment will lead to poor economic growth will lead to non-innovation, will lead to a deterioration of the quality of life. I think the federal government is not that educated to know that what the ASUU, the demands of ASUU will lead, if met, will lead to quality graduates being released to the Nigerian society who will do better. But the federal government did not see it that way. They thought is a fight between them and just one organization. Unfortunately, it's going to reflect on the quality of standard of living. Mark in Milan, do you have one quick
Yeah,
word on this
and
before I go to?
just one sentence, Dr. Johnson. There was
Yeah.
somebody I know, I respect so much, and he's saying to me, it's possible that Boko Haram is the agenda of the sustained ASU strike. And I tend to believe him now. Somebody I
It,
know
it, it,
and I respect so
it,
well is saying that
it
it's
appears
possible that yes, that the real reason behind ASU strike being stretched to this point is that the government believes in Boko Haram.
But
If that is the
why
case,
not?
then we're in trouble.
Why not? Because that's the argument against APC that if Tinubu, who we don't know his age, should be the next president, and you put Shetima as his vice, that it has a Boko Haram agenda. That's been the argument. It's not
Exactly.
a Muslim. It has never been a Muslim ticket. Never. The issue has been Shetima becoming the next vice president, and if Tinubu should pass away, then Boko Haram becomes the president of Nigeria. I mean, that has been the argument against. Let me quickly ask Mark, did you see that way?
Yes, I think, Dr. Shagun, we were saying this some time ago. You said this too, that this looks like a Boko Haram agenda, because the Boko Haram agenda is all down
No
to
Western education.
Yes. Yesterday, actually, the ASU, some of the students, some university students took to a protest on the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, venting their anger. They were more on their lecturer side, that's the ASU side, and they were against the government side. So we are seeing a very sad situation playing out in our country. Education is the core of any society. So if we have our own educational institution not functioning up to this time for 6 months now, that's a serious issue, Dr. Shagun.
Thank you. Dr. Ibe, what's your quick reaction on that?
My quick reaction is that if you are born poor, which is most likely, because more than 60% are poor. If you are born poor in Nigeria, there is no route out of poverty. But yet we have enough cow grazing routes, but there's no route out of poverty. It tells you the kind of priority we have in Nigeria. And the problem of ASU is just one of the many problems. There's no route out of poverty. You're born poor, but you really have the brain. You want to make use of it. You're ready to work hard, and you want to get out of poverty.
You have said something very important there. The government is making us look at ASU as the troubleshooter, the troublemaker. But just like you said at the beginning when you came in, the West will always want Russia to look like the dissenting voice in the whole world. Whereas it is the West, when you look at the voting pattern of the Security Council, it is Russia statistically that's always vetoing or many times vetoed. But the Russians are saying that you will go and create something inimical, something bad, and then you want us to support you. No, we veto you. So the same way, the federal government will misbehave, and we want all the agencies to support them. Or what do you say, Dr. Ibe?
Yes, it's clear. What ASU is requiring is logical. It's the right thing to require. The NANS, I can expect I can understand the reaction of NANS, the president, and the students not going to school. They really want to get out and work. But the truth is that most of them complain will eventually not get any work. because unemployment is at high, it's very high. They are less likely to get good jobs. They are going to, but at least they want to be in that position where they can be called a graduate.
Okay. Let me ask you this
Graduate.
in these dying seconds. I'm so sorry to cut you short. Russia losing the fight with Ukraine. Most of the Kharkiv area has been retaken. Is that what is happening?
No, Russia pulled out. They didn't lose any. They didn't lose any soldier. That is
Oh,
not a
they didn't
loss.
tell us.
There's a
The story
difference.
here is not that
There's
they
a
pulled out.
difference. There's a difference. Yeah. Sorry. There's a difference between tactical victory and strategic victory. Let's not mix things. There's no. Yeah. Let's look at things very
Dr.
clearly.
Peter, do you
When a
agree with
country,
him? Dr. Peter, do you
I
agree
haven't
with
finished.
him? Tactical
When a
pull out.
country moves out, in addition, a very organized withdrawal, you can see that civilians moved out, the army moved out. First of all, I don't support. I want peace, cooperation between all parties. So that does not mean I'm saying I'm putting fire or fuel in the fire. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to let you understand that the truth is that when you want to look at it, you want to look at all publication, Eastern, Western, you can see that, yes, everyone agrees that Russia made a decision to withdraw, and their stated
I love
claims
what you
are
said. I
liberation
love
of
what you
Donbass.
said. We all want peace. We all want peace. Osita, we all want peace, don't we?
Yes, we want peace. Definitely
Mark,
peace.
we want peace. So tactical withdrawal, victory,
Yes.
they are the same thing.
Absolutely. We want peace, Dr. Sherman.
All right. We just have to come to the end of this meeting. Dr. Godwin Ibe from Moscow, I really love you and thank you for coming. Dr. Osita giving us the latest from Imo. Thank you. And for those of you who are Imo citizens, the Lord will replenish your pocket. Marky Milan, thank you very much for hosting us. Until next Wednesday, when we bring you the latest, definitely we'll be telling you more about King Charles III next Wednesday. I'm very grateful to you all for watching, and we'll be back. God bless you all. Bye-bye.